Hello everyone, welcome back to Speaking Spurs and me, Kieran, talking all things Tottenham. And today we're going to be talking about the build-up to the Spurs-Brentford game, amongst some transfer stories mixed in between, and a little bit about what's been going on in the lead up to this week. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. We are approaching that 1,000 subscriber mark, getting there slowly but gradually. Need another 60 something subscribers, so make sure you're one of those that does that. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoy the content and leave your comments below so we can continue the conversation. Now, as you know, the game against Burnley didn't go ahead because of the snow. If you watch the last video, you'll see that I was caught up in Storm Arwen, having to travel down and hit snow around sort of like the Leeds area, which made driving a bit of a nightmare. Plenty of swerving about, cars all over the place. So that game didn't go ahead. Some of the games in the Premier League did go ahead in the snow. Conte reiterated the fact that, the players' safety is paramount and it was best not to play. I think there's more a tactic involved in the fact that, look, we were absolutely poor on the Thursday, probably lacking in confidence, so it makes sense to get the boys back and get them into training to put more of his ideas across, because the one thing Conte hasn't had so far is proper time with a full squad. So any extra day that he can grab to train him and put his ideas across is paramount, and I think that is kind of a little bit behind it, as well as the condition themselves, because you saw some of the games were played in it and the snow was heavy in some of them games, especially in the second halves. So that one was avoided. Now we're up against Brentford today at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, 7:30pm kickoff. Team news right out the bat for us. Romero, his injury should keep him out until early next year. So that is that hamstring injury that he picked up on international duty for Argentina. Internationals are absolutely killing us. Can't stand them. Just get rid of them throughout certain parts of the season, in my opinion. And then his Argentinian compatriot, Lo Celso. Now, he is back outside training. However, not training with the squad yet. So he's still improving, but still out. Conte reckons he could be back after the Brentford game. And is excited to work with him in some proper capacity. Let's actually have a look at the starting lineup that was released for the game against Burnley, because that was quite interesting. So it was Lloris in goal, Royal, Sanchez, Dyer, Davies and Reguilon. So Sanchez, Dyer and Davies making up the centre-back positions, Royal and Reguilon pushing a bit further forward into full-back positions, with Højbjerg and Skip next to each other once again, and then Lucas, Son and Kane as our attacking three. The interesting thing about that, Sanchez, despite the fact that he had a really poor game in the Europa Conference League on the Thursday, managed to maintain a starting place, and that's ahead of players like Tanganga, Rodon. So there's obviously something that Conte sees, that believes in, but I mean, primarily this season, Sanchez has been fairly decent and strong. This was just a really poor off day for him, where he got turned inside out and made look silly. Maybe it's the competition, maybe it's complacency, maybe it's tiredness, I don't know. The subs for that game would have been Galini, Doherty, Tanganga, Sessegnon, despite his antics and red card, Winks, Dele, Ndombele, Hill and Bergwijn. It'll be interesting to see what he goes with tonight. I think Sanchez will probably still be in the squad, as in the starting lineup, with a similar bench. I think we'll see a very, very similar squad lining up as to what this one was going to be against Burnley. Now, if we look at the past between us and Brentford, they haven't beaten us in the last 11 games we've played. Fair enough, we've been a top flight team in that time. They've not been. So we've got 8 wins and 3 draws in those last 11 games against them. The last meeting being the 2-0 EFL Cup semi-final between us. This is our first top flight meeting. We have met in second divisions and so on before. Bad news for us is we've lost each of our last 5 Premier League London derbies. Absolutely shocking. We need to turn it around at some point, and it's at home tonight. Brentford, new boys to the Premier League, and they've really come at it. I think they're brilliant to watch. They've got a good attitude, very well run club. It'll be a difficult game. I can't really say many teams have had it easy against Brentford so far. They are masters of the dark arts, one will say. And they play it very well, but surviving in the Premier League in your first season is the most important thing. And I think they're doing their best to get over the line in that sense. And every time one of the Premier League clubs gobbles up a superstar player, somebody shines a light to replace them. So Watkins and Benrahma go, Ivan Toney, comes to the forefront. So it's going to be a tough game. Look, don't get me wrong, it's going to be tough. Hopefully the lads have used this this little break well, and Conte's used it well to drum into the squad what he wants from them. Now, if we look at the table, we've played 12 and we are on 19 points with a shocking -6 goal difference. So we're currently sitting 9th in the Premier League. We could jump to 6th if we win this game. And we're still not on level games with some of the teams. Obviously, we had the postponed game, which means we've only played 12. Others have played 13. Some have played 14. On level games, if everything goes our way, we could actually jump up to 4th. We could leapfrog West Ham. That's bearing in mind Arsenal don't do anything decent, or West Ham in that meantime. And then you've got Chelsea, Man City and Liverpool occupying 1st, 2nd and 3rd, and they're creating a nice little gap now to enter a 3-horse race. Brentford are currently sitting 11th in the Premier League on 16 points, and they've played 13, so they've played one more than us. Look, at the end of the day, tough game, and I think considering the situation we're in and how we've been playing, to still be in touch of 4th place just tells you how difficult it's been for other teams in and around us as well. So although it's been a bit of a crisis for us, other teams are kind of underperforming, bar Chelsea, Man City and Liverpool. So very, very much still in the hunt for top 4. January will be an interesting time to see what we can get in the door to help us. Speaking of all that, however, reports have circulated that Conte wanted Bergwijn out the door. Apparently he'd been given the cold shoulder treatment and only had 2 words spoken to him since he's come in. Obviously hasn't played any minutes under him so far. Ajax apparently are looking at him. So look, the thing that drew us to Bergwijn was his age, his playing style, and then the stats that he had whilst he was playing for PSV. Looked like a very exciting talent. Come into Spurs, had a few injuries, obviously scored on his debut against Man City, but things just haven't really gone his way with those injuries, in and out of form, fans on his back for being too defensive and not attack-minded enough. But I actually think that was more Mourinho than it was Bergwijn. Had a bit of a torrid time with social media. Too many people getting on his back, been out of the international side. He's now back in the international side, scored a goal and got the assist that helped them guarantee their World Cup spot. So hopefully his confidence is up. And so stories have been saying that Conte wants him out. However, Conte has come out and been speaking this week saying he's very much in his plans and has been speaking about that striker spot. Now, traditionally, Spurs managers Pochettino, Mourinho and Nuno, already forgot his name, that's how much of an impression he made. All 3 of them have used Sonny as our backup striker. Now, Conte said he's not going to do that. Doesn't see Sonny as a striker, sees him more as the wide player that he is, or as backup as a number 10. So he's been saying that Bergwijn is possibly that man that will come in as a backup striker. Now, his goals to games ratio, not great. His wasted chances, not great. However, he has a venom and weapon of a strike on him. Like some of the strikes this guy's hit, he absolutely rifles the ball. Has fairly good movement. We've seen in some games what he can do. So is this a good move? Is it not? Let me know in the comments below what you think on that one. But I think possibly with the right training and backing from the manager, this could be a good move. Obviously, he's not going to be our main man because Harry Kane's there. But he could probably do a job, especially in the front 3. He can play anywhere across the front 3 anyway. I don't know. Let me know below what you actually think on that one. I think it's a better option than Son, and I trust Conte. So that's that one. Contract talks possibly to be opened with Hugo Lloris in January. Now, this is something I'm really excited about because backup goalkeepers have not been our thing, really. None of them look like they could ever take over from him, like in the past. Vorm, Gazaniga, Joe Hart. It's not really worked out the way we wanted it to. I don't think Galini is going to be the man to take that number 1 spot if Hugo goes at the end of the season. So we've had those links to Pickford, Sam Johnston, and pretty much every other goalkeeper that's English at the moment because he wants someone homegrown. But, 1 more year with Lloris at the top. I still think he's got at least another year in him after this. So expect a 1-year extension to be offered, and barring a massive offer coming in contract-wise for him, it's not going to come down to what we get offered because if he doesn't sign, he's gone anyway. It's going to have to be a big offer from a club. I think he could stay. I think Conte could persuade him to do 1 more year, especially if we do decent business in the January transfer window is what I meant. And if we turn our form around, I think he'll stay. Other transfer links, interesting ones. So, former Spurs player Luka Modric. I can't see this one happening. One, based on his age, it will be a short-term fix, but it will be an instant impact he would make in the midfield. Look, we know what he can do. Former Ballon d'Or winner. I mean, to beat Ronaldo and Messi to the title speaks volumes. He's won the Champions League, 4 times? He's won La Liga twice. Very important player for Real Madrid. He's still got that absolute quality on the ball. We know exactly what he can do. We've seen it, we've experienced, we've played against it. Fantastic player. I'd take him back in a heartbeat on a short-term option. But apparently he's holding out for Manchester City, which makes sense. He wants to win things in his career. He's got no real loyalties to Tottenham other than, we helped him advance to the next stage in his career. Let me know below what you think about that one. Would you have Modric back? Do you think he's past it? Personally, I don't think he is. He's still playing for Real Madrid. He's still one of the best central midfielders in the game. The other person that we're being linked to now is Inter Milan player and former player underneath Antonio Conte and Croatian as well. And that man is Ivan Perisic. Now, we've been linked with him plenty of times in the past. He's 32 years old now, so another one on the wrong side of 30, but still a very good player, can help us with creativity. Conte knows what he's going to get from him in terms of work rate. I don't know how strong a link this is. This could just be more media jargon and agent talk just to get someone like Perisic, another big move. But, I can see the method and the madness behind this one. I wouldn't mind it. He's a very decent player. Again, great at international level. He's been a very good servant of the game. If we could bring Modric in and him, there could be a lovely little partnership striking up there. A bit like on FIFA, when you start signing players of the same nationality, you get a green line go between them. I can't see this one happening, if I'm honest. It will depend on players going out the door. But it's nice to be linked with these players, but we're going to be linked with everyone that he's coached at Inter Milan, really, aren't we? Enough of that, and moving on to a random one. This is not transfer related or anything, but Yaya Toure is currently doing his UEFA coaching badges. Now, he's been photoed at Spurs, in Spurs training kit. He's going to be working alongside Chris Powell and his team with the academy players just to get himself through that, and has not ruled out the possibility, if he's offered a job at Spurs, to stay. So, I mean, that for me in itself is great. Can you imagine players learning under the tutelage of Yaya Toure? I mean, what a player. When he became a free agent and hadn't quite retired yet, I was really hoping that we were just going to snap him up on a pay-as-you-play deal. He even said that he was willing to stay in the Premier League. He was willing to sign a contract for like £1 a week with a Premier League club. Why nobody took him up on that offer, I do not know. I certainly would have had him in. Great midfielder. The pace, it was never really a thing for me. It doesn't matter with a player. He was very strong. He was great on the ball. He can absolutely rifle them from outside the box. Look, it never happened. But we've got the luxury of him at the moment working with the youth academy to benefit himself and no doubt benefit us. Let me know below in the comments, would you have liked Yaya Toure to have pulled on the jersey for Spurs, even in the twilight of his career? But you know what? That is it for today, story-wise. They're the most important ones that I could pluck out. And the reason why I hadn't spoke to you in the last couple of days is just because the stories coming out, there wasn't enough to feed you with, and it would have been a complete waste. It's just better to, have a little wait for the right stories to come along to talk to you about. So that is, team news for the Brentford game tonight. Romero out and Lo Celso out. Bergwijn very much in Conte's plans, despite the fact he's being linked with an exit to maybe Ajax. Contract talks possibility for Hugo Lloris, Yaya Toure working with our youngsters, Perisic and Modric on our radar, Sanchez keeping his place in the squad despite his howler on Thursday, and the game against Brentford tonight. Let me know below what your score predictions are. I'm personally going to go with a 3-1 to Spurs. I think we're going to pull it out of the bag, but Brentford are quite dangerous and I expect them to get a goal. Let me know below what you think. Put below what you think your starting lineups will be, who you think should start, who shouldn't start. Thanks for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed that video. Don't forget to subscribe, like and comment. And until tomorrow, when we can talk about the game, come on you Spurs.